Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I hope you're doing well. Today we're back. It's the Euros. It's the quarterfinals. We're taking on the world number one. I've sat and made notes. I'm prepared. I'm just hoping this isn't all going to be in vain. Let's get into it. This is going to be tough. So yes, everyone, we're back. Of course, if you missed yesterday's episode, it was against Macedonia. Going into today's game, I'm taking things more seriously. You know, we've been drawn against the Belgians, and let's be honest, Belgium are very, very good in real life and in Football Manager. Their world ranking is apparently world number one, and so far this tournament, Eden Hazard, he's been playing very, very well. As you can see if we just scroll down here, he's got 5 goals and 3 assists in 4 games. This man contributes 2 goals a game to his team. We really need to shut him down. And well, I've got a plan to do just that, because I've sat down, I've squiggled down notes, I've kind of studied the opposition, and this is the team we're going to play, and I am now going to explain to you the method behind this madness. Okay, so a quick overview of our opposition today in terms of Belgium. They are the best team in the tournament so far. They have just been better than everyone else. They've created more chances than anyone else. They've scored more than anyone else. They've kept a couple of clean sheets, although I am looking to take inspiration from the Danes. Of course, a team who we met in our own pre-season game, and on that occasion we drew 4-4. We know how potent they can be, but as you can see here, despite scoring 4 against Belgium, they managed to score 5, and you look at the likes of Lukaku, Hazard, and De Bruyne, we're going to have to be at our best in order to beat them. If we just look at the player overview screen here, you can see that Hazard is currently joint top goal scorer in the competition with 5. Of course, Calvert-Lewin, he's not doing too badly himself. He's got 4 in 4 appearances, although 3 of those have been on off the bench, hence the fact he's going to play for us today. You can see De Bruyne scored a couple of free kicks for them, and well, as Eden Hazard has the second best rating in the competition, behind Mason Mount, of all people, which I'm hoping I'm going to take inspiration from today. Mason Mount has been very, very good for us, and there's aspects of his game and of Phil Foden's game that are going to have to be on show today. So looking at how Belgium like to line up in this competition, they've tried 2 different approaches. They've played a 4-2-3-1 wide. They used this on a couple of occasions against lesser opposition, namely Hungary and Finland. Hazard plays out on the left. They try and get the ball forward to him. De Bruyne plays down the middle as a playmaker, as you'd probably expect, with Lukaku playing up front. And then they will play just a flat back 4, and then Witsel and Tielemans at centre mid. And when they play the 5 at the back system, which they used against Russia most recently, they look a little bit like this. They play Alderweireld, Bonau, and also Denayer, kind of as a back 3, and then Meunier and Castagna are given a lot of permission to roam up the field. Now, interestingly enough, when I was doing a little bit of research into this team, I was looking at how can we solve the issue on their left. They've got Eden Hazard, who gets 2 goal contributions a game, and Castagna is a very good wing-back. And going into it, I kind of just assumed that Castagna was going to be looking for overlaps. You know, they were going to be overloading that right-hand side. That isn't really how they play, both when they play a 4 at the back and a 5 at the back. Castagna plays an inverted wing-back role. He kind of drops into, you know, this space. So this is definitely an area of the pitch I want to make use of. I want to try and attack this space in behind. Eden Hazard is not particularly good defensively. And also, when I was looking at some of their results, they were trying a lot of goal kicks straight to Hazard. I guess because he's, you know, one of their target men. Courtois looking to hit him constantly. He doesn't win the ball in the air. So I'm hoping that in having a right back who's good in the air, who can defend well, we can mark Hazard out the game. That in itself is going to be a little bit of a challenge. But, you know, behind Castagna, there's going to be space, particularly if we hit teams quickly. So going into this, the way I want to approach things is I want Walker at right back. The reason for going with Walker is he's not only is he really quick, he's going to be able to, you know, keep up with Hazard a lot, but he's very good in the air. 11 jumping reach is better than Hazard's jumping reach. He's also got pretty good heading too, which is always nice. And he's got the stamina, I think, to man-mark him out the game. So in terms of how we're going to approach this, you can see mark-specific position. Hazard always plays on the left attacking mid position, regardless of if they play the 5 at the back or the 4 at the back. Additionally, with this system, we're going to have Sterling stay as a winger on attack. I want him to sit on the shoulder of Meunier, kind of give him something to worry about. So whenever he drifts inside as an inverted wing-back, Sterling will hopefully have a load of space staying high up the field on the right-hand side to attack in behind. They haven't got the quickest defence on that side of the pitch. Now, you might wonder, Jack, double Mazzala? Henderson at DM? We'll cover Henderson at DM first. Firstly, he's obviously very good defensively. But it does also give me the opportunity to change things up. If Belgium play the 4-2-3-1, I want Henderson on De Bruyne at all times. I want him man-marking De Bruyne as best he can in that number 10 role. If they do Belgium start with the 5 at the back system, we might change things up slightly and we might go to a kind of 4-2-3-1. Obviously, the great thing about starting this selection of players is I can interchange between these two systems really easily without having to make too many subs, which makes us super adaptable. Additionally, at the back, I have gone with Harry Maguire today. That was because when I looked at Belgium and I looked at their game against Hungary, they had 25 shots in this game. 11 of them were headers, which that seems ridiculous when I saw that stat, but it was just something where I could go with Tomori. Tomori's not great in the air. They've got Lukaku up front. I've got to be a little bit fearful of his physical presence. You can see if we just look at their shots here, 25 attempts, 11 were with the head. Of course, some of those are going to be set pieces, but nevertheless, they definitely made a tendency of getting the ball to Lukaku in the air. So I'm recalling Harry Maguire, who obviously hasn't been very good for us so far, but he's good in the air. I'm hoping he's going to be able to keep up with Lukaku and kind of match him in the air. And I'm playing him on the left side with Stones on the right. The thinking there being that if Hazard gets past Walker, I want a fairly rapid centre-back who's able to sweep and cover him behind and, look to sweep up any kind of runs that Hazard makes through the channels and, on the odd occasion where perhaps Walker can't man-mark him particularly tightly. So yeah, you may have also noticed Calvert-Lewin out on the left-hand side for us. Of course, he's been in some really good form. The logic behind this change is kind of simple. Belgium are struggling a little bit in the right wing-back position. They've had Meunier there, who's not performed very well. He's currently injured. There's a fair chance that I guess they bring in Castagna. If they do that, they might abandon the left inverted wing-back, which may result in me having to change Sterling's position just slightly. But he's played well at left wing-back for them. Obviously, he's a very good right wing-back. And if he plays the right wing-back position, be interesting to keep an eye on who is playing left wing back to see exactly how they approach things. But regardless, it is going to involve some changing of their defensive line. There's going to be a lack of chemistry there. I'm hoping that with Calvert-Lewin's physicality, his ability, to win the ball in the air, to run quickly at defenders, he's going to be able to serve us pretty well. I mean, you look at Calvert-Lewin, you think he's just a big kind of man. He's actually got 11 crossing, 11 passing. Don't get me wrong, they're not super standout, but I think they allow him to function in the wider area as more of a creative player. And then I guess we have to talk about what's going on in the middle, because Harry Kane is playing as a complete striker on support, or complete forward on support. And I know a lot of people question me playing Harry Kane as an advanced forward in previous episodes. I can explain the logic behind that. I find, generally speaking, unless you're playing two wide players on kind of attacking duties, kind of a more supportive solo forward in the Football Manager match engine this year just isn't that functional. I feel like advanced forwards are just really good at dropping into space when they need to, as well as getting forward. Now, the reason I'm going with a complete forward and a double Mazzala, which might seem really, really weird, is because of Belgium's big weakness. And that big weakness in their team is their marking, their tackling, and their positioning. Yuri Tielemans is great. De Bruyne's great. Witsel's not terrible defensively, but on the whole, they've not got a proper defensive midfielder. I say that. Witsel is their star man in that regard, but defensively, he's left a lot to be desired this tournament. Equally, he's only got 11 marking, and he's not the quickest on the ball. So I'm hoping that in having a degree of fluidity in the centre of the pitch, we can really target that when it comes to Belgium here today. Again, if we look at their team report and the analyst report, in terms of where they're conceding kind of goals from, a lot of them are coming through the middle. Now, of course, when they play a 5 at the back, they're playing with 2 centre mids. I want to boss that centre mid battle when they play that. But assuming they're going to play the 4-2-3-1, which I think they will today, I think having 2 Mazzalas allows us to get in behind. Harry Kane is going to drop in deep, hopefully baiting the defenders. And then with 2 Mazzalas running on either side of him, as well as Calvert-Lewin and Sterling, in prime attacking positions to get forward, we're just going to cause a massive headache for Belgium when they don't have the ball and hopefully be able to find lots of space behind their kind of 2 centre mids. That's the thinking. That's the logic. Elsewhere, Shaw's going to play on support today. Again, I want to target that right-hand side, particularly because there is going to have to be some changes there for them. And of course, if they do play a 5 at the back, we will change things up just a little bit in reaction to that. Final thing, really, Kevin De Bruyne to Lukaku. I can't let those passes get linked up. That was something that when I looked at all my notes, De Bruyne and Lukaku, like their link-up play is kind of what enables Hazard to get into the game in the wider areas, kind of running in behind. And so it's going to be invaluable that we shut that down today. Need a big performance from Henderson. Walker needs to try and keep Hazard as quiet as he can. And let's get into this game. I've made notes. I've studied. Hopefully, I'm not going to be let down. I suppose before we get into this game, we might want to do just a few additional instructions. The big one, actually, for me, is about trying to keep Hazard out the game. Now, part of me wants to press him and wants to mark him tight all the time, but I don't know if that's exactly wise. It actually looks like they are going to play the 5 at the back today. So a big thing for us is going to be about winning the battle. I want to try and press Witsel and De Bruyne. I noticed that when they play a 5 at the back, they do give the ball up a lot. Castagna, interestingly enough, is going out to that right-hand side. They're going to be playing Cabot at left back. Now, he is left-only footedness, so, I mean, he doesn't look very quick and he doesn't look very good. So actually, Sterling maybe playing as a winger on attack probably is the right move still, but there isn't going to be that same opportunity afforded in terms of targeting the space behind an inverted wing-back. I'm going to press the 2 centre mids. I want to rush them a lot. Obviously, we're taking on the world number 1 here. This is not going to be easy. A little bit annoyed that they've gone with the 5 at the back because I didn't really want them to play the 5 at the back, if I'm being completely honest with you. I wanted them to play into our hands, and I thought the 4-2-3-1 was the best bet of that. So for this game, I'm going to be playing on extended highlights. Additionally, just straight away, we're going to change things up a little bit in terms of how we're setting up the team. I want to try and get in behind. I really want to try and target them. I'm hoping that having Walker kind of mark Hazard out the game isn't going to be a recipe for disaster. I always feel like it's a little bit of a risk to man-mark a player as good as him. Equally, that's why I've got Stones in at right centre-back, is to hopefully offer a little bit of coverage if Walker is caught a little out. Elsewhere in the team, Henderson's going to be a bit of a rock for us here. I'm going to play with 3 attacking midfielders on attack. I want to attack those pockets of space in behind. Additionally, out of possession, I'm just thinking about things here. I was thinking about maybe trying to force teams into the middle more. I actually think that's a pretty smart move. If we force them inside, because they've only got a 2-man midfield, I think we can really crowd out the middle area. I don't want to force them out wide because they'll just start pinging balls into the box to Lukaku, and that is how Hungary got undone. And then in transition for this game, I think I want to try and distribute it to the flanks, because they've obviously got limited kind of presence in the wide areas. I think there's going to be space in behind to target. And also Henderson's distribution's really good. He's got 14 kicking, which I think we can definitely utilise. And then when it comes to our approach play, I'm going to drop the overlap on the right. I kind of set up the 4-3-3 thinking they were going to play the 4-2-3-1. Probably should have known, given the fact they played against their kind of stronger opposition, this shape, that this was the shape I should have been preparing for a little more. But nevertheless, we're going to get into it. And, well, Harry Maguire's on the pitch. I'm giving him a second chance, everyone. Let's hope he doesn't let us down. Also, Calvert-Lewin going to be interesting to kind of watch how he does here, as they do win the ball here. But Henderson kind of cutting out that channel of space, that link-up play. De Bruyne is going to be a bit of a pain in our side here, to the point where I'm actually wondering if I should get Henderson to man-mark him. You can see Lukaku's very willing to drop into the half spaces, but this kind of right-hand side, I think, is an area that we can look to exploit today. As the ball's whipped in, Calvert-Lewin back post heads over. I mean, I feel sorry for their left wing back who's been thrown in here. He is in at the deep end. He is out of his depth. So one thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to have Henderson mark De Bruyne. De Bruyne is playing as the right centre mid for Belgium. I think having Henderson man-mark him makes sense. Of course, they are going to have Lukaku up front and then the 2 wide players to be wary of. I'm just wondering if I want to have Shaw on the overlap, and I think given the way that they're going to play, where I think they're going to leave their wide men fairly high up the pitch, I don't really want to have Shaw out of position against Hazard. I mean, you can see here, if we just pause it, their left wing-back is clearly not playing as an inverted wing-back in this game. Castagna and Thorgan Hazard are out in the wide area here. So the whole plan of Sterling getting in behind is going to be more difficult. You know, if the inverted wing-back was dropping into this space here, obviously there's more space for a Sterling to attack into. But nevertheless, I definitely think it's an area of the pitch we can look to abuse. I am perhaps playing a bit of a gamble on the fact that Cabot is not going to be a player worth Sterling picking up because he's so bad going forward. Of course, when he now gets an assist, it's all on me. Anyway, Hazard playing the ball to the edge of the box to Witsel, and it's a save by Henderson early on. It wasn't a particularly ferocious effort. Maybe a little bit of a warning there. Of course, we've got Mount playing as a Mazzala. Defensively, not going to do as much as Lukaku looks to bring the ball forward here, and he hits it. Henderson, Huge save again. Not what I wanted to see inside the first 15 minutes. A bit of a barrage on our goal. We'll now have a corner to deal with as well as Hazard whips it in. Witsel headers it. Henderson makes another stop. None of them have been particularly challenging stops. But 3 shots for Belgium in quick succession. Our keeper's been tested. And it's not exactly what I wanted to see going into this game. Hazard with another corner. He whips it goalward. Shaw gets it away. Now maybe we can look to break here. Kane bringing the ball forward. Not the quickest of forwards, but he's got Sterling on ahead. Looking to take it past his man if he can. Options in the middle for Harry Kane. Is he going to be able to pull it maybe to the man arriving at the edge of the area? He is. Henderson, awful effort. Deflects horribly. And now it's Lukaku turning around Harry Maguire, who has the turning circle of a dumpster truck. Back to Thorgan Hazard, but Shaw collects and gets it away. Corner for us here. It's going to be Mason Mount under it. Of course, their weakness of kind of marking is going to cause them issues. And apparently, that was handball. Was that by Cabot? I think their makeshift left-back, who probably shouldn't be on the pitch, has just conceded a penalty. Right, penalty. Let's not mess this up. Harry Kane is over it. He's got 2 goals in this competition so far. Can he make it 3? He steps up, he hits it, he sends the keeper the wrong way, and we have the lead here inside the first half an hour. So yeah, just to kind of mention what I was saying as the goal was scored, because they have got bad marking, positioning, and just their defending, to be fair, in this team is a little lacking, even when they play a back 3. I did feel like set pieces might be an area we could do well on, although given the fact we'd already succeeded from them, it wasn't something I wanted to touch too much. Of course, we've now got Maguire back on the pitch. He's very good in the air, so if he can't defend, the very least he can do is help deliver on set pieces for us by getting his noggin on the odd one. Stones to Henderson. Back to Kyle Walker here. Henderson again with it. So you can see they are kind of having Hazard and also Thorgan Hazard played fairly high up the pitch here. Henderson is dropping into this space as a centre mid on defend. You've then got Mount as the Mazzala running on a little bit. Kind of wish Sterling was staying a little bit wider here, trying to stretch them kind of further wide. But I'm looking to use this space in behind. This is the area where we want to get the ball to, especially against a team that you can see are defending with such a flat back 5. There's going to be this space in behind the centre mids that we can look to exploit as well. Sterling is running into that space right now. Henderson, Mount, Henderson, Foden again behind the centre mids. Those duo of centre mids are what we want to be punishing, really, when we do have the ball here. We should always have an extra man in midfield. And, well, that was an ambitious pass to try and switch the play. And they're going to look to try and hit us on the break here. Lukaku running forward. Harry Maguire. I mean, I don't know what was worse. Harry Maguire's inability to react there and kind of close down the angle, or the finish at the end of it by Lukaku. I mean, their team are really tired, whereas ours, we're not fresh by any means, but we have had a little bit longer to recover. Be interesting to see what kind of changes they maybe make as Cabot, the man who I've slated and underrated. I mean, of course he was going to do that. On a yellow card, we've been trying to target him. He was at fault for the goal that they conceded by doing the handball. And now he finds the bottom corner. And again, Sterling playing on attack. He doesn't track the man back. Could I be playing him on support instead of attack? Maybe. But I do want to try and punish this guy who's now on a yellow card. I'm curious, what is his shooting ability? 7 finishing, 8 long shots. And he's not very quick. I mean, it's a bit annoying when he's the man who scores from open play like that, isn't it? I mean, the concerning thing for us here is we've had 1 shot in the first half. And it was kind of a penalty. I say 1 shot. 1 shot on target. It was a penalty. Gonna tell the players I'm not happy. I need more from you lads. I'm actually wondering here about changing things up slightly. Okay, so they're bringing in Mertens for Lukaku, which immediately makes me want to take off Harry Maguire, because Mertens I don't think is particularly good in the air. I feel like I should almost check that, right? Let's have a look. Mertens, yeah. Mertens has no ability in the air. He is just quick. So whilst United fans might think I'm being a little bit biased, I'm just going to take off Maguire and bring in Tomori. Be interesting to see if they are keeping with the 5 at the back shape. It does look like they are playing with 3 centre-backs at least right now. I'm actually thinking that I might just change things ever so slightly here and just play Mason Mount as a box-to-box midfielder. And then have Foden just try and get forward a little bit more as a shadow striker. Not really noticed Calvert-Lewin much in this game so far, but of course we've got players like Sancho who have started for us on the regular who we can bring on off the bench. I mean, I think it says a lot that they've taken off Lukaku here whilst he's tired. Ball's with him. Tomori, I mean, I don't know if Maguire scores that. I'm going to claim he doesn't. Again, it's a set piece. It's a free kick this time in a wide area, and Tomori, free header. Courtois got a good hand on it. Kind of surprised it ended up in the back of the net. It was De Bruyne who was marking Tomori. I mean, that is just a bit of a mismatch. And we find the back of the net. 2 set pieces. We're making them count. As we approach the hour mark here, I am going to make some changes. You can see here, Foden's run himself a little ragged. I'm going to bring in Grealish, I think. Elsewhere, Calvert-Lewin's struggled out on the left. Let's bring in Rashford. And you know what, Raheem Sterling, you've not inspired me today. Let's bring in Sancho. Let's get in a trio of fresh players bearing down on their defence. Also, they've switched to a 4-2-3-1. I thought they would do this at some point. I didn't know if it would happen this soon. So with that in mind, we've got to change things up a little bit. I think I am still going to go with the plan that I originally had in terms of playing the double Mazzala with Henderson in behind. Obviously, the big task for Henderson now is mark De Bruyne out of the game. Do not let that man kind of boss you around. We need to cut the supply line to, well, I guess it's Mertens now rather than Lukaku. It's worth noting that despite the fact we're playing Mount as a Mazzala, he has got the player preferred move, comes deep to get the ball, so he will drop in a little bit more than a Mazzala normally would in the earlier phases of play, which I think is fine. Also, if they've not taken off De Bruyne, but they've actually got a slightly different player in at centre attack in mid, which makes me wonder if I should just stick Grealish on De Bruyne, but we'll leave things for now. We'll see how things play out as it's going to be Jack Grealish fresh off the bench, bringing the ball forward. Bit of a conspicuous area to have the ball, but he and Rashford linking up nicely. Players queuing up at the edge of the box. It's Henderson with it. Rashford tries to pick out Kane, then goes for the shot. Ultimately, that has just gone wide of the post, but a good effort, and this is the system that I prepped for more, so I'm hoping that we're really going to come into the game now. Walker, bringing the ball forward. Still going to, look for the overlap a little bit. Hazard's tired now, so I'm a little less fearful of him. That might come back to bite me as, well, Grealish tries to pick things out. He picks out Rashford. It's just ping-ponging around in the box. Ultimately, Courtois just about gets it away. It's been a very, very even game so far. We've had opportunities. They've had opportunities. I'd argue we've grown into the game perhaps a little more here as things have gone on. Rashford's not tracking back because I am playing him in a more advanced position to get him behind. Also, they're playing Boyata at right back. That is a very bizarre thing if that's what they're doing. I'm being told that Mason Mount is tired. We might look to make another change here, although, as I say that, they score their own set piece. It's Denier to Jan Vertonghen, of all men. Of course it was Jan Vertonghen at the back post. And for all the set pieces we've made use of, we've now had one go against us here. Who is that marking him? It's Sancho, but then we've got Walker, Tomori. I mean, I might swap Walker and Tomori and Stones around, just because Stones is slightly better in the air. Either way, we've just not picked up Vertonghen at the back post and he's ghosted on in. It's 2-2. We could be going to extra time. Yeah, they are playing Boyata at right back and Cabot at left back. I'm just thinking, we're already playing extremely wide. I'll tell you what, let's play it a little more directed, a little less kind of out from the back. Then when it comes to Sancho here, you know what? I'm going to switch him to support. I think Mason Mount's looking fairly tired. But what we'll do is we'll bring in Bellingham, play Bellingham on attack, try and get in behind. I think it's Witsel still playing centre mid. Oh no, it's Praye now playing centre mid for them. Right, throw in. We've already made the most of set pieces where they just don't pick up our man. Can we do it again? Praye bringing the ball forward for them here on this near side. Henderson tries to put in a tackle. It's blocked away there. That was very, very fortunate. We try and get the ball forward to Kane here. He takes it down well. Bellingham now playing as Mazzala on attack is going to look to find these spaces, and he's there right now. Pulls it back. Rashford's there, and that change has worked wonders. Getting in behind their centre mids was always the game plan. Little bit of a shuffle, little bit of a change, and there's nothing more rewarding than in Football Manager where you make a micro adjustment like that and it works out for the better. Sancho, really, really intelligent ball, perfectly weighted, and Bellingham there. That cut across is absolutely superb. Courtois had no chance, and now we need to look to kill off this game, don't we? Let's just be a little more sensible here. We can start to time waste. I want us to just hit low crosses. We'll just regroup. Nothing crazy here. We want to sit back now, look to soak in the pressure. Distribution, we'll still look for take-long kicks onto the wings just because Boyata is not having a great game at right back and Cabot is not a very good left back for them. But with 3 minutes left, we just need to kill off this game now. Walker to Sancho. Back to Walker. Henderson, edge of the box. Could pull the trigger from here. Plays it to Kane. Shots blocked. 5 minutes left. We've had 3 shots on target. They've all gone in. The game freezes for a second. It can't handle what's happening. They are committing lots of men forward. This could be a chance to break away. Rashford, and is that Bellingham? It is. Just play it to Bellingham. Great ball. He's got to finish this. Jude Bellingham. Oh, that was the opportunity. Sancho could still do something. Tackle him from behind. He goes down. Cabot, I mean, he's testing his luck on a yellow, but he has won the ball there. 3 minutes left now. The tension is tense. It's getting to me. Henderson can't pick out Sancho. Mertin's still the lone forward. Tomori tried to close him down or something. Stones makes a huge covering tackle. Wasn't Hazard who he had to kind of deal with there, but that's exactly why we brought him into the team when we're playing him as right centre-back initially. Sancho with the ball here in the wide areas. What can he do? Tries to get in. It's blocked away for a corner. Probably should have changed the corner so we're not committing as many men forward, although we go short here. Sancho, Grealish, Henderson, edge of the box, bit of space, back to Grealish. Plays it to Bellingham, Sancho, lovely build-up play. The shot is blocked. But Belgium with so many men back and with 1 minute left here, it is still 3-2. Ball is cleared away. Kane has it in the wide areas. We can just look to kill off this match now if you want, Harry. Run for the corner, son. None of this nonsense. Back to Shaw. Back to Kane. Was he offside? I thought he might have been. I should be a linesman. He was offside. One last shout of demand more, and surely that is that. It's not been a particularly pretty result. I don't think it's been flawless by any means. It would have been very embarrassing after the notepad notes that I made if we lost that game. And whilst we weren't brilliant throughout, apparently our best performer was Marcus Rashford on off the bench. An inspirational change. Also, Tomori a goal off the bench. I'm gonna give myself the praise. I mean, some of you will argue that both those players could have and maybe should have started. I made the changes. They've worked. We've knocked out the world number ones. Elsewhere, Italy have lost to the Netherlands. And we're into the semi-final. We're into the semi-final. And suddenly it's getting a little bit more serious. Elsewhere, Portugal plays Switzerland. Spain and France play one another. So that is going to be another giant club leaving the competition there. And Italy, as I already mentioned, knocked out by the Netherlands. That is a huge result over there. Right, I'm just going to mash continue here. I want to find out who we're playing against. I'm excited to know who we're going to be playing. Tell me, Football Manager. So looking at the other quarterfinals, Portugal knocked out by Switzerland on penalties. Elsewhere, Spain knock out France 2-1. And, well, the Spanish, they're going to be our opposition for our next game. They play a very similar system to the system we ended today's game with. You can see their squad there. It's a pretty good team. I'm surprised they've knocked out France. And, well, we have that semi-final in 3 days' time. So I'm going to turn over a page on my notepad, start scribbling down some notes. Hopefully I see you guys for the next episode. I hope you've enjoyed this format, something a little bit different. It's not the kind of way you can really approach every game in Football Manager as a YouTuber, but I think it's kind of fun to have a little bit of a deep dive, try and uncover little ways to just get an edge over the opposition. And actually, it's quite nice when it works. If I'd lost, it would, as I said, it would have been very awkward, but it worked this time. Hopefully it will work again tomorrow. I will see you guys then. Huge game against Spain. And if you've enjoyed today's video, drop a like on it. It is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.